Picture this. Right now, inside your body, two fist-sized organs are performing a miracle you'll never see. Your kidneys are filtering nearly 50 gallons of blood every single day, working silently, tirelessly, without you ever thinking about them. They're like invisible bodyguards, protecting you from toxins, waste, and dangerous imbalances that could end your life in hours. But here's what most people don't realize. These bodyguards are under attack, and the weapon isn't some exotic poison or deadly disease. It's something sitting in your kitchen right now, something you probably ate today. Sugar. That's right, the sweet stuff you sprinkle in your coffee, bake into desserts, and gulp down in sodas is slowly, quietly destroying these vital organs. And the scariest part? You won't feel a thing until it's almost too late. But what if I told you that in just 30 days, without sugar, your kidneys could start to heal themselves? What if 1 month of discipline could save you from years of suffering? Stay with me, because what happens to your kidneys when you quit sugar is nothing short of extraordinary. When you eat sugar, your kidneys don't just sit there passively. They jump into action immediately, forced to filter out excess glucose from your bloodstream, like emergency responders dealing with a chemical spill. Unlike proteins or healthy fats that your body processes gradually, sugar hits your system like a freight train. One moment you're fine, the next moment your blood glucose spikes dramatically, and your poor kidneys have to absorb all that overflow. They're designed to handle normal amounts of glucose, sure, but modern diets don't deliver normal amounts. We're talking about hidden sugars in bread, sauces, yogurt, and drinks that add up to massive daily loads. Every time you consume that sugary soda or finish that dessert, you're essentially asking your kidneys to work overtime without extra pay. And just like any worker forced to do more than they're capable of, eventually they start to break down. This isn't dramatic exaggeration. This is what medical research has documented over decades of studying kidney function and dietary habits. The real problem starts with something called glomerular hyperfiltration. Now, I know that sounds technical, but stick with me because understanding this will change how you think about sugar forever. Your kidneys contain millions of tiny filters called nephrons, and each nephron has a cluster of blood vessels called a glomerulus. When you eat too much sugar consistently, these glomeruli start filtering blood at an abnormally high rate. At first glance, this might sound beneficial, like your kidneys are working harder to keep you healthy. But the truth is, it's like revving your car engine at maximum speed for hours on end. Sure, the car is moving fast, but you're burning out the engine. Those delicate blood vessels inside your kidneys weren't designed for this kind of relentless pressure. Over months and years, they begin to wear down, developing tiny tears and scars that accumulate silently. Most people never notice because kidneys are incredibly resilient. They'll keep working even when damaged, masking the problem until things get really bad. In fact, you can lose up to 70% of your kidney function before you experience any noticeable symptoms. By then, the damage is often irreversible.
This is why the first 72 hours after quitting sugar are so fascinating. During those initial 3 days, your body goes through what feels like a rebellion. Your brain, which has become addicted to quick glucose hits, suddenly finds itself deprived of its favorite fuel. You might experience headaches that pound behind your eyes, mood swings that make you irritable and short-tempered, and cravings so intense you'll find yourself opening the fridge just to stare at it. These symptoms are real and they're uncomfortable, but they're also temporary. And while your brain is throwing this tantrum, something remarkable is happening deep inside your abdomen. Your kidneys are celebrating. The moment you stop flooding your system with excess sugar, the pressure on those tiny filters drops dramatically. The constant emergency response mode finally switches off. Within just 72 hours, studies have shown that the levels of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, begin to decrease in your bloodstream. These AGEs are nasty molecules that form when sugar binds to proteins in your blood, and they accelerate aging throughout your entire body, especially in your kidneys. Less sugar means fewer AGEs, which means less damage accumulating with every passing hour. Let's talk about what sugar actually does on a molecular level, because this is where it gets really disturbing. Every time sugar enters your bloodstream in large amounts, it doesn't just sit there harmlessly. It actively binds to proteins and fats in a process called glycation, creating those AGEs I mentioned earlier. Think of it like caramelizing onions in a pan. When you apply heat and sugar, the onions turn brown and sticky. Something similar happens inside your blood vessels and organs when excess sugar is present. Your kidney tissues literally become sticky and inflamed, making it harder for them to function properly. The nephrons, those microscopic filtering units, start to struggle. Imagine trying to strain soup through a clogged sieve. That's essentially what your kidneys are dealing with when damaged by sugar. But here's the hope. When you remove sugar from your diet, this process slows down dramatically. Your kidneys get a chance to clear out some of that sticky buildup, to repair minor damage, and to return to a more normal, sustainable rhythm. It's not instant magic, and it won't reverse severe damage, but for kidneys that are in the early stages of stress, this 30-day break can be genuinely life-changing. Now, you might be thinking that sugar only affects blood glucose levels and maybe your weight, but the damage goes so much deeper. Sugar has a sneaky relationship with your blood pressure, and this relationship puts enormous stress on your kidneys. Here's how it works. When you consume large amounts of sugar, your body releases more insulin to help process all that glucose. Insulin doesn't just manage blood sugar, though. It also signals your kidneys to hold onto sodium and water. This is a survival mechanism that made sense thousands of years ago when food was scarce. But in our modern world of abundant sugar, it becomes a curse. Your kidneys start retaining extra water and salt, which increases the volume of blood flowing through your circulatory system. More blood volume means higher blood pressure. Higher blood pressure means more force, slamming against the delicate walls of your blood vessels, including the tiny vessels inside your kidneys. Over time, this increased pressure damages the filtering structures, creating a vicious cycle where kidney damage leads to worse blood pressure, which leads to more kidney damage. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and more destructive with every revolution. But when you quit sugar, something wonderful happens. Within just a week or two, many people notice that they feel less bloated, their rings fit better, their face looks less puffy, and they need to urinate less frequently. This isn't coincidence. Their kidneys are finally releasing all that excess water they were holding onto. Blood pressure starts to drop, sometimes significantly. For people who were borderline hypertensive, this change alone can be enough to bring their numbers back into the normal range without medication. The kidneys, no longer struggling against constant high pressure, can work more efficiently. Blood flow improves, inflammation decreases, and the risk of long-term vascular damage drops substantially. It's like finally turning down the volume in a room where music has been blasting for years. Suddenly, there's peace, and your kidneys can actually hear themselves think. This improvement in blood pressure isn't just good for your kidneys either. Your heart, brain, and every other organ in your body benefits when blood pressure normalizes. The ripple effects of quitting sugar extend throughout your entire cardiovascular system.
Once you've had one kidney stone, your chances of developing another within 5 years jump to about 50%. That's a coin flip determining whether you'll experience that excruciating pain again. But here's where quitting sugar becomes your secret weapon. Within 30 days of eliminating added sugars, the chemical composition of your urine begins to change. Calcium excretion decreases, and the concentration of stone-forming substances drops. Your kidneys find it easier to keep minerals dissolved instead of allowing them to crystallize. Some studies have shown that people who maintain low-sugar diets for several months can reduce their kidney stone risk by as much as 30 to 40%. Think about that for a moment. 30 days of discipline, of saying no to desserts and sugary drinks, could potentially save you from years of recurring kidney stones, emergency room visits, and procedures where doctors have to break up stones with shock waves or even surgery. That's not a small trade-off. That's a life-altering decision that your kidneys will thank you for every single day. Here's something most people never consider. Your kidneys have a limited capacity for self-repair, but they do possess some regenerative abilities if you give them the right conditions. When you finally remove sugar from your diet, your kidneys enter what researchers call a recovery phase. The chronic inflammation that's been damaging kidney tissue starts to subside. Think of inflammation like a wildfire burning through a forest. As long as you keep adding fuel, the fire keeps spreading, destroying everything in its path. But the moment you stop adding fuel, firefighters can finally get control and start saving what's left. In your kidneys, those firefighters are your own immune system and cellular repair mechanisms. With sugar out of the picture, inflammatory markers in your blood begin to drop. C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and other inflammation indicators decrease within weeks. This reduction in inflammation allows the delicate structures inside your kidneys to start healing. The basement membrane of the glomeruli, which acts like a coffee filter for your blood, can thicken and strengthen again. Protein leakage into your urine, which is one of the earliest signs of kidney damage, often decreases or even stops completely. This protein leakage, called proteinuria, is worth understanding because it's such an important marker of kidney health. Normally, your kidney filters are selective. They allow waste products and excess water to pass through into your urine while keeping important proteins in your bloodstream where they belong. But when those filters get damaged by years of sugar abuse, they become leaky. Proteins that should stay in your blood start slipping through into your urine. At first, the amounts are tiny and undetectable without lab tests, but over time, as damage accumulates, the leakage gets worse. Eventually, you might notice foam in your urine, a sign that significant amounts of protein are being lost. This is bad for multiple reasons. First, losing protein robs your body of essential building blocks it needs for muscles, enzymes, and immune function. Second, the presence of protein in the kidney tubules actually causes further damage, creating another vicious cycle. But when you quit sugar and give your kidneys a chance to heal, this protein leakage often improves. The filters tighten up, becoming more selective again. It's not a complete reversal if damage is severe, but for people in the early stages of kidney disease, the improvement can be substantial enough to prevent progression to more serious stages. The connection between sugar and diabetes is obvious to most people, but what's less obvious is how diabetes destroys kidneys. Diabetic nephropathy, which is kidney disease caused by diabetes, is the leading cause of kidney failure worldwide. More people end up on dialysis machines because of diabetes than any other single cause, and the primary driver of type 2 diabetes is excessive sugar consumption over many years. Here's what happens. Chronic high blood sugar damages the tiny blood vessels throughout your body, but the kidneys are especially vulnerable because they process such enormous volumes of blood. The delicate capillaries inside the glomeruli become scarred and dysfunctional. Blood flow decreases, filtering efficiency drops, and waste products start accumulating in your bloodstream. In advanced cases, people need dialysis 3 times a week, spending 4 hours hooked up to a machine that does the work their kidneys can no longer perform. The quality of life for dialysis patients is seriously compromised. Many struggle with fatigue, dietary restrictions, and the constant awareness that they're dependent on a machine to stay alive. But here's the empowering truth. When you quit sugar for 30 days, your insulin sensitivity often improves dramatically. Insulin sensitivity refers to how effectively your cells respond to insulin, the hormone that helps glucose enter your cells. When you eat lots of sugar regularly, your cells become resistant to insulin, forcing your pancreas to produce more and more of it to achieve the same effect. This insulin resistance is the hallway to type 2 diabetes. By removing sugar, you allow your cells to reset. They become more sensitive to insulin again, meaning your pancreas doesn't have to work as hard. This protects your pancreas and your kidneys from the damaging effects of chronically elevated insulin and glucose. Research has shown that even moderate reductions in sugar intake can significantly lower the risk of progressing from prediabetes to full-blown type 2 diabetes, and fewer diabetics means fewer people facing kidney failure down the road. This is prevention in its purest form. You're not treating disease, you're stopping it before it even starts. The single most compelling aspect of quitting sugar is the timeline of benefits. You might wonder if 30 days is really enough to make a difference, and the science here is absolutely clear. Yes, it absolutely is. While it's true that severe kidney damage takes years to develop and can't be completely reversed in a month, the measurable improvements in kidney stress markers begin within weeks. Blood pressure drops, often within the first 10 to 14 days. Inflammatory markers decrease, with studies showing reductions in C-reactive protein levels after just 3 weeks of low sugar eating. Urinary albumin, a type of protein that leaks into urine when kidneys are damaged, decreases in many people within a month. Even your urine itself might change, sometimes becoming clearer and less concentrated, indicating that your kidneys are handling their workload more efficiently. These aren't subtle theoretical changes. These are real, measurable improvements that doctors can verify with blood tests and urine samples. And while 30 days is an excellent start, the real magic happens when you extend this change beyond a month. Think of the 30-day sugar-free period as a trial run, a test drive to show you what's possible. It's long enough to break the addiction cycle, to reset your taste buds, and to experience genuine physical improvements. But it's just the beginning. The people who see the most dramatic long-term benefits are those who use those 30 days as a launching point for permanent change. Long-term studies tracking people over 5, 10, even 20 years have found that individuals who maintain low-sugar diets have significantly lower rates of chronic kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. Their kidneys continue to function well into old age, while their high-sugar-consuming peers face declining function, medication, and potential dialysis. The difference isn't small. It's the difference between enjoying your retirement, traveling, and playing with grandchildren versus spending 3 days a week in a dialysis center. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to show you how much power you actually have over your future health. The beautiful thing about kidneys is that they're resilient. Even if you've spent years eating poorly, flooding your system with sugar, damaging those filters, they still have the capacity to stabilize and improve if you give them a chance. Obviously, if you're already in advanced kidney disease, quitting sugar alone won't cure you. You'll need medical treatment, possibly dialysis or even a transplant. But for the vast majority of people reading this, your kidneys are still functioning, still working hard, and desperately hoping you'll make better choices. Every day without added sugar is another day of protection. Every week that passes gives those nephrons more time to repair. Every month compounds the benefits, building a foundation of health that can last decades. And the crazy part is, most people who successfully quit sugar for 30 days report that they don't even want to go back. Their energy levels stabilize, their mood improves, their skin clears up, and yes, they feel their kidneys working better, even if they can't explain exactly how they know. Of course, this doesn't mean you can never enjoy a sweet treat again. Life is meant to be lived, and occasional indulgences are part of a balanced, happy existence. The key word is occasional. A piece of birthday cake at a celebration won't destroy your kidneys. A dessert when you're on vacation won't undo months of good choices. The problem is daily excess, the kind that comes from sweetened coffee every morning, soda with lunch, cookies as an afternoon snack, and ice cream after dinner. That constant bombardment is what breaks down your kidneys over time. But if you can shift your baseline to a low-sugar lifestyle, where treats are rare and special rather than routine, your kidneys will handle those occasional spikes without issue. Moderation protects, consistency heals, and elimination, even temporary elimination, gives your body a chance to reset and recover from years of abuse. So here's the bottom line, the core message that I hope resonates with you long after you finish reading this. Your kidneys are performing an invisible miracle every single day, and they're doing it without complaint, without rest, without recognition. They deserve better than being drowned in sugar, forced to filter toxic levels of glucose, and damaged by inflammation and pressure. They deserve the respect